So we're going to begin here, and I'm going to start a little light. So in the first little segment here, so Dave's talking to this guy. This guy's obviously a clown. It's Palisades Gold guy, and it's a gold pumping channel. So of course, everything you're going to hear is going to be pro gold, bad stock market, fiat currency bad. Everything that you can imagine is going to be bad, right? But buy gold. Gold is the savior. And of course, Dave, once again, Dave, do you realize that you are fueling kind of a criminal network of exploitative companies that not only charge people excessive commissions for gold, they charge people for storage fees. Dave, you're helping this network of shysters, including the penny stock. Well, what am I talking about here? I can't appeal to Dave. Dave actually buys these penny stock miners himself. I heard him say this, actually. He actually listens to these fucking clowns. He's so stupid he doesn't understand that these penny stocks are all fucking scams. And many of them are being kind of pumped and dumped. But anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and read to you this first segment here. And let's go ahead and find the transcript. And you can take a look on the side, of course. When you pull up this video, what do you have? Right? Another, this Anthony Pompliano fucking shyster. He obviously promotes fucking gold pumping con men. And this guy, John Rubino, fucking another gold pumping con man. Just take a look down the list. You got the whole fucking usual suspects, right? Warren Buffett is selling, right? Before the market crash. Peter Schiff, promoted on this Tom Bilyeu, fucking Tom Bilyeu. I already exposed this fucking scammer. Of course, Tom Bilyeu is from the Joe Rogan Circle Jerk, right? By the way, you all do know Peter Schiff is in the Joe Rogan Circle Jerk. You know why, right? Because Peter Schiff is related to Joe Rogan. So he's automatically included. He's going to be, Peter Schiff's going to be the financial guy that Joe Rogan's going to promote. You understand, right? You got it? You got it? Just go down the list, okay? So here we go. So here's what the Collum in his first. Let me get it, the transcript. Where is it here? Okay, come on. So in this first little piece here, you can just go ahead and I posted here so you can see, you can read along. And sitting at these, I'm staggered by the ignorance of people who should know better to say, oh, it's great. The market's really going to rock when the Fed starts cutting rates. You go and you take a peek at the last couple of times the Fed cut rates and look what happened from the day that the Fed started cutting rates. The market top looking forward. Well, we'll just go ahead and play this. He's basically saying that the market's going to collapse because the Fed's cutting rates. After all, look at the last two times. This is one of the many, 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 many weird, shocking things about Dave Collum. Here's a guy who's a professor of chemistry who obviously knows some statistics, right? And just basic common sense. Why would he go and look at two data points? Like 2 data points, that's your evidence? That's your logic, Dave?
The crash comes after the first rate cuts. And, sitting at these pretty much all-time highs. Yeah.
I'm staggered by the ignorance of people who should know better. So people who say, oh, it's great, the market's really going to rock when the Fed starts cutting the rates. You go, why don't you take a peek at the last couple of times the Fed cut rates and look what happened? From the day that the Fed started cutting rates, that marked the top. And looking forward to, 50, 60% sort of level corrections. So this idea, people say, gold does poorly when the Fed's hiking rates. And I go, you don't remember the 70s?
So you hear this? So this is, once again, this is why I really kind of am starting to question, is this guy doing legitimate, real research? I mean, think about it for a second. You've got a guy who's like picking antidotes out. I mean, does it sound like, when you hear this guy give you his logic, does it sound like it's coming from a top professor, research chemist? It's really weird. So his argument is basically the last two times the Fed cut rates, the market collapsed by 50 to 60%. And it's like obvious. It's going to collapse because of that, because the Fed is cutting rates. You understand? First of all, someone who is remotely responsible would actually look at all the data. Second of all, I wouldn't even consider you remotely responsible if you went by that. If you're going by that, I mean, these are the same people who are definitely saying there's going to be a recession because of the yield curve is inverted. They don't look at everything else. Why? Well, Dave doesn't know anything. Dave doesn't know what the fuck to look for. He's just looking for anything he can find to pitch his case, right? The market's always going to collapse. He's been saying the same thing for 15 years. And he's telling you a stupid little cherry-picked antidote. Don't look at anything else. That's it. Okay? Complete stupidity. Then he goes and says, I don't understand people saying gold doesn't do well when rates go up, when rates increase. And he's saying, don't they remember the 70s? Does that sound like evidence to you, folks? He's telling you to look at the 70s, and that's it. And that proves it. Gold went up when rates went up. Therefore, according to Dave, gold usually goes up when rates go up. No, Dave, it doesn't work that way. Dave doesn't understand. Dave, let me explain to you why there's a tendency, not always, but there is a force, a strong force that pushes gold down, a tendency not to increase gold. Gold is moved by many things. Interest rates is one of the factors. Why? Because when interest rates go up, investors that have cash, they can get a yield. They can get a risk-free liquid yield on their return. No risk at all, and it's completely 100% liquid. Okay? People typically don't want gold, all other variables equal, during that situation. You got it, Dave? That's the deal. Okay? It doesn't mean that gold can't go up when rates increase, because they can. But generally speaking, other variables held constant, it's not going to, unless you have extreme situations. There's other variables, other things happening. Okay? But you notice the logic that he uses. Isn't he wants to bring you back to the 70s. And of course, hey, if you want to talk about gold and inflation, of course, Dave's going to tell you, like all these gold bugs, Dave, the first thing I learned on Wall Street, the very first thing I learned was that gold is not a real hedge against inflation. You got it? All you fucking gold numbskulls out there, sorry, it's not really a hedge against inflation. Okay? It's actually a better hedge against deflation. Can it hedge against inflation? Somewhat, but so can fucking rice and coconuts. Okay? But gold is not this great hedge against inflation like all the gold bugs claim. And you all know why. I'll explain it to you. You've never heard it before in your life. And people are going to copy me because everyone likes to lurk and get information from me. So they can pretend like they're an investment guru, but they're all fake investment gurus. I never read this anywhere before. It's just common sense. The reason why gold is not a hedge against inflation. Why? Well, folks, what happens during inflation? Generally speaking, all other variables held constant. During inflation, eventually interest rates go up. You got it? That's a downward force on gold. People don't want gold in a rising interest rate environment. You got it? And if you look at history, people are going to say, whoa, look at when we had inflation, it went up. They don't want to show you what happened to gold. And I've shown the chart. Take a look at gold between 1980 and 1981. Okay, all the way through the 80s when we had massive inflation, what did gold do? It didn't do shit. In fact, it went down. Okay, they don't want to talk about that, right? That's real inflation. The inflation of the 80s is real inflation. Okay, right? That's real inflation. Yet gold didn't soar, right? Why not? Because it's not a hedge against inflation. You want to hedge against inflation, you buy fucking real estate, okay? And you buy, actually, generally speaking, probably commodities are a better hedge against inflation than gold, because gold has too many other variables that can knock it out of that commodities category, right? It's not going to move like commodities. It's a geopolitical asset. Anyway, any more? Dave's probably like going to pass through here, lurk through here, I would say. Let's listen to the next point here. And got to skip a lot of bullshit. If you listen to the whole video, you'll hear where Dave just likes to ramble, just spit out a lot of nonsense.
People cite inflation's 2.5, and I go, you got to get out more. If you really believe that, you got your head up your ass, right? And then you dig into how they calculate inflation, and it's just batshit crazy adjustments from head to toe.
So Dave's telling you that there's no way inflation is 2.5%, and he's going to go on. He's going to mention a few little. He's going to talk about hedonic pricing. I wrote about this shit 20 fucking years ago. Okay, the point is this, Dave. It doesn't really matter. Okay, it mattered 20 years ago. It mattered back then when we were facing a lot of issues. It doesn't matter now. And inflation isn't 2.5%, Dave. Tell me what it is. Tell me what it is. He's like Peter Schiff. Peter Schiff says it's not the real inflation rate, but Peter can't tell you what it is, right? If it's not 2.5%, then you tell us what it is, Dave, and tell us what does it matter. Dave, tell us what does it matter. He's not going to talk about that. What's the relevance, Dave? If it's much higher, then tell us what's going on. What should we do? What's going to happen? You understand? It's all about throwing out the typical doubting conspiracies. Oh, this is not true. Oh, the Fed's lying. Oh, it's fake data. Buy gold. Buy gold. Buy gold. You understand? Just complete horseshit. Dave, tell us what the implications are if inflation is much higher. It's not the real data as reported. Tell us what it is. He doesn't talk about that. He just wants to tell you the inflation data is wrong, and he wants to tell you to go to John Williams, the fake economist. Okay, you can go ahead and listen. Let's go ahead and listen to what he has to say here.
Oh, whether it's hedonic adjustments for more buttons, or whether it's substitution, or whether it's excluding everything that goes up. Whether it's I'm going to write a big attack on inflation again this year, and I blame economists because they get into all their equations and stuff, and I go, you're losing sight of the fact that the prices are going up. You somehow haven't noticed.
No, they're not, Dave. They're not saying inflation is zero. They're saying it's 2.5%. That means prices are going up. You got it, Dave? Do you understand, Dave? Dave, do you understand? Okay, let's go to the next segment here. Okay.
How ignorant the wonks are. I have found, for example, that people don't understand market valuation.
Okay, so he's talking about the ignorant people, and he wants to tell you that he understands market valuation. That's interesting. Interesting. Dave now is an expert in market valuation. Okay, let's listen to what Dave has to say about that. What do you have to say about that, Dave? Okay.
And so, I've predicted, I'm on record, boy, am I on record for this one. I think we have a 40-year bear market coming. Now, that's what to say it's going to go down for 40 years. What it is to say is just that based on current valuations.
So you heard that, folks? A 40-year bear market. So basically what he's going to tell you is that the market's so high now that, you're not going to really return much for 40 years. It's that high. That's what he's basically going to tell you here. Completely fucking, the guy's fucking, tell me that's not crackpot. I mean, go ahead and listen.
Based on the assumption that GDP will grow fairly normally, and based on the assumption that somehow 40 years from now, we will have regressed to the mean, it is fourth grade arithmetic to predict the markets can't go anywhere. Because if we're 150% overvalued, and I've got 25 metrics that say so, but the easiest is maybe the Case-Shiller PE. Whereas from 1880 to 1994-ish, it just wobbled around 12. That's the mean.
You guys, you understand what he's saying. So, by the way, he likes the fourth grade math thing because that's kind of in the email exchange with the whole IRA thing. He said it's fourth grade math, right? It's fourth grade math. You know, he wants to kind of belittle people, and he's actually fucking wrong. That's how stupid this guy is. He doesn't realize what a fucking fool he is. Okay, so he wants to tell you that the market is basically going nowhere over the next 40 years because it's so overvalued now. It's going to take 40 years for regression to the mean. And what's his reasoning? Well, first of all, he's going by the Case-Shiller PE ratio, which those of you who are in my boot camp series 3, we actually covered that recently. I don't even look at the Case-Shiller. It's kind of fucking waste of time. I never look at it. Okay. And I'm probably like the best market forecaster in the world. In fact, I guarantee I am, based upon my track record. I don't look at that. You got it? Don't look at it. Now, I'm not going to get into a discussion of market valuation. Is the market high? Yeah, it's high. But guess what? It's been high. Okay? And if you think that you can time a stock or a market that's high valued, right? You're a fucking idiot. You can't sit there and say, oh, I'm going to short a stock because the valuation's too high. Then you're going to be like that fucking short guy, little guy, who shorted Nvidia and lost a shitload of money because he's stupid. You know, everything money, right? Paul Gabriel, the fucking scam artist who's pitching his fucking horse shit, selling people stuff he's not qualified to do. Okay? You understand? So, you heard it from this guy. A 40-year bear market, basically the market's going to return jack shit for 40 years, is what he's saying, because it's so highly valued. Now, if you believe that, there's something seriously wrong. And look, if you're young and you fall for that and you're clueless, okay. An adult like him who's lived a long life, he's seen what's happened, what can happen, how bad things can get, and how things can recover. He's lived that life. And he's sitting here saying this. I don't know if the guy is intentionally trying to steer people down the gutter or he's that delusional. And I think maybe he's just become that fucking delusional. This is what can happen to you if you're constantly immersing your mind into Austrian economics, libertarian, gold-pumping horse shit. You start to believe all this nonsense. And of course, this whole argument is for what purpose? Well, you want to buy gold, right? You want to buy gold because the stock market's not going to do it. Can you believe this horse shit from this guy? This is some of the worst, most pathetic horse shit I've ever heard in my life. Dave, Professor, would you like to get on the platform, a neutral platform, live with me? Would you like to learn, Dave? You want to understand, you want to hear from a world-class investment analyst, you want to hear what's going on, or do you want to listen to your little crackpot Stephen Roach guys and Gabe Rosenberg guys who are always pitching doom and gloom, who are fucking clowns? Or do you want to listen to the best investment analyst in the world? That's me, Dave. That's me. You got it? I've got the track record. You want to learn, Dave? You want to make money? Or do you want to feed your ego? I think Dave is more committed defeating his narcissism and his ego than actually learning and doing well as an investor. That's what I believe. So let's take another look here, another example. Now here, Dave, he wants to show everyone, he wants to show the world how he doesn't even understand what a PE ratio is and what it really tells us. This is going to be interesting here. And I want you all to, because I know some of you are going to take the time, which is good, to actually sit down and listen to Dave talk in this whole video. And I encourage you to do that, because what you're going to notice is he just kind of rambles and talks kind of here and there. And, you know, he doesn't present things oftentimes in a clear manner, clear, concise manner, where you can actually take something out of it. He's always kind of spinning around and throwing things around. So you're not really, it's almost like he's wanting to kind of throw little things here and then kind of twist around and confuse you. He doesn't really know what he's talking about. And you're going to see that here when he explains to you about the stock market. So listen to this now.
The trend, and something else has to trend with it. So for example, if the valuations double, let's say it takes some stock as a PE of 100. Well, that stock is priced to return 1%. And most people can't grasp that.
You see, so notice how he's always kind of demeaning, most people can't grasp. Well, Dave, you can. You're the smartest guy in the room. Dave, stick to fucking chemistry, okay? Stick to fucking chemistry. You don't have a fucking idea what you're talking about. And Dave, anytime you want to go live with me, let's fucking go. You got it? Let's go, Dave. Now, a guy like this, you notice how he kind of, he disparages people. People don't understand. No one understands. But Dave understands, because Porter Stansberry, the fucking scam artist, shyster, tells you that you're great. Did you all hear what Dave said? You can read the transcript. You can read it. Let's go ahead and listen to that once again. You can read it up here. He basically says a PE ratio of 100, right, gives you a 1% return. Did you all hear that? Let's listen to that again. I want you all to listen to this carefully. Okay? Listen to this carefully.
Well, that stock is priced to return 1%.
You hear that? So a stock, the PE ratio of 100 is priced to return 100%. I'm sorry, priced to return 1%. Okay? You all hear that, right? Let's go ahead. Now think about that. Go ahead and continue with the argument.
And most people can't grasp that. I go, if you bought a bond that had a 1% return, you'd know what that means. Well, you're buying a stock with a 1% return. What's so hard about this?
So you probably didn't catch this, what's going on here. Dave seems to think, and he actually compares a stock's PE ratio and its returns to the returns of a bond. Dave, you're talking about two fucking completely different things. You got it? PE ratio is the price divided by earnings. Earnings of a company, of a stock, do not tell you the return that you're going to get. The person that owns the stock gets a return based upon how the stock returns in the market, right? How it performs in the market. A bond return is different. 1% bond return is 1% bond return. Earnings don't necessarily equate to returns. You got it? PE ratios are a reflection of earnings growth, of future earnings growth. Has nothing to do with the returns an investor is going to get necessarily. It's based upon earnings growth. So he doesn't even understand what a PE ratio fucking says. This is kind of shocking, to be honest. He's basically saying, if you got a PE ratio of 100, you're going to get 1% return. No, not true. Not true. Sorry, you're wrong, Dave. You're wrong. And then he actually compares this to a bond return, which, yeah, you're getting 1%. If the coupon is 1%, if the bond's trading for 1,000 or 100, whatever the par is, let's say, it's going to give you 1%. Yeah, okay. Completely different. Earnings of company reports and the returns that an investor gets are completely two different things, moron. Anyway. This is what I'm talking about, folks. If you don't listen to this guy carefully, he just fucking fudges through stuff. Oh, now this, now. And at the end of the day, at the end of his little speech, he kind of like, oh, wow, he seems like he knows what he's talking about because he's throwing out these terms and he's saying people don't know what they're talking about. And wow, if you listen carefully to this guy, he's completely fucking clueless. Now, I want you to listen to this next thing here. Dave's got a little theory on tobacco stocks. He wants to tell you why the debt is so high. Okay? Listen to this one.
You know why they have a ton of debt? They want, it's a toxic bank account to keep someone from groping for them. Philip Morris.
Here you go.
At a level that you'd say, oh, I'll accept that return. And if that's a return you want, just buy a goddamn tobacco stock. I just looked this morning. Philip Morris has got a 9% dividend. You know, they also have a ton of debt. You know why they have a ton of debt? They want, it's a toxic bank account to keep someone from groping for them. The debt, you know, Cornell once lost some research trees because a couple of kids cut them down for Christmas trees. And so they invented a spray you could spray on the tree that would eventually wash away, but made the tree really ugly. So you could spray your research trees and they wouldn't get cut down by fraternity guys. And so the debt on the balance sheet of Philip Morris is to keep it from looking like a honeypot that someone could go for and say, look at those evil tobacco guys. Look at all that money in the bank. Let's go get that. They go, no, we've got debt. Mm-hmm. And so
I guess it depends on...
The money just flows out as a 9% dividend year after year after year.
You hear that? So according to Dave, you all caught that, right? I mean, can you believe this? According to Dave, Cornell chemistry professor, and there's a video where Dave is actually in his little IRA video. One of them he talks about. He starts bragging about how Cornell is such a great school and it's amazing. It's so. Dave, in case you don't know this, Cornell has been a has-been Ivy League for a long time. You know that, right? It's kind of at the bottom half now. Cornell is like, no, it's not there, Dave. By the way, it's just not there. And you're kind of confirming that, Dave. You're really confirming that. In fact, if I'm thinking to myself, what type of damage is this guy doing to the chemistry department? Who the fuck is want to go there and want to go and learn chemistry if they got this guy there as a chemistry professor, right? Who thinks he knows everything and really doesn't know a whole hell of a lot. If he doesn't know, I mean, think about it. He doesn't even realize how incompetent he is. He has Dunning-Kruger. This is a great example of Dunning-Kruger. He thinks he's such a fucking expert and he doesn't fucking know what he's talking about. And if he's that way, because I mean, you're not going to be that way in one area and not that way in other areas. That's a mentality thing. If he's that way in this genre, is he the same way in chemistry? I don't know. But did you hear his argument? He's telling you that Philip Morris has a lot of debt. Why? Because they have to make it look like they're kind of a bad investment. Otherwise, people would look at Philip Morris and say, my God, look at that 9% dividend. It's a honeypot. It's a gravy train. Man, the tobacco companies are getting away with murder. They're getting away with stealing money. Therefore, he's saying they need to have a shitload of debt to make it look like it's a struggling business in order to protect themselves, to shield scrutiny. Can you believe this? I mean, this is like seems like a blueprint out of the Alex Jones conspiratorial horseshit Bible. Can you believe this? Do I need to play it again? You all understand what he said, right? He's saying that, not basically, he's saying exactly that the reason why Philip Morris has such a high debt load is because they're paying a 9% dividend yield, and they don't want the public to see them as such a great investment, because then people are going to attack the company and say, oh gosh, look, you're selling cigarettes and you're making this shitload of money. It's not good. We're going to come after you. And so he's saying basically they have that debt to make them look like they're kind of struggling. Can you believe this? I mean, this is really bizarre. Really fucking bizarre. Hey, Dave, let me explain to you something. Now, I haven't looked at the balance sheet of Philip Morris. I know they have a lot of debt. And let me just tell you this. I haven't looked at the balance sheet or any of the filings to see what the debt is due to. But let me just take a wild guess. A wild guess. Maybe it's not a high chance at all. But you know what happened, Dave? Back around 25 years ago, I don't know, say it was around 1999 or so. You all can look it up. It was something called the Tobacco Master Settlement. It was a class action lawsuit against Philip Morris. And it was involving about 47 states, I believe it was. There were maybe 3 holdouts that didn't agree to participate. And those states, however many there were, 47, 48, I don't know, however many of those states were, they came to a settlement with Philip Morris, and we're talking about a huge shitload of money that Philip Morris was supposed to pay the states every year for the next few decades. I forgot what the amount was, but it's a huge amount of money, okay? And the claim was because due to Philip Morris, it was kind of the first of this type of lawsuits. You know, you're seeing the climate change horse shit going on now. The states basically said, look, you're causing us to spend more money on Medicaid because of cigarette smoking. Therefore, you owe us money. Okay? Some of you might remember this. If you don't know about it, take a look at it. Okay? It was basically a money grab. Just an excuse for the states to get more money, just like what they do today. You know, they increase the tobacco tax every year, claiming that, oh, well, we want people to stop smoking. And in reality, if they wanted to stop smoking, they'd raise the tax to fucking $1,000 a pack instantly. They don't want that. They want to raise it slowly and gradually so that the cigarette addicts can gradually kind of keep paying a little more and more into the pot so the states get their money. That's the fucking reality. Okay? Dave, you know what? Maybe, just maybe, that big debt that Philip Morris has on its fucking books, maybe is due to that liability. I think it's valid enough to look into, by the way, Dave. But we know one thing's for damn sure. They don't have that debt there because they want to look like they're struggling so that people won't attack them. Now, of course, I'm sure Dave, as skillful as he is, as a scheming talker, he'll have an excuse and he'll talk his way out of this if confronted. Okay? This is the type of horseshit that comes out of this guy's mouth. Can you fucking believe that? Should I play it again one more time so you can hear it for yourself? Let's play that one more time. Because it's hard to believe, is it not? It's hard to believe.
Down for Christmas trees. And so they invented this spray you can spray on the tree. Is you're going to have to double your engine, double them again, and then you're going to be priced at a level that you'd say, oh, I'll accept that return. And if that's a return you want, just buy a goddamn tobacco stock. I just looked this morning. Philip Morris has got a 9% dividend. You know, they also have a ton of debt. You know why they have a ton of debt? They want, it's a toxic bank account to keep someone from groping for them. The debt. You know, Cornell once lost some.
You hear that? So it's there specifically just so people won't have a money grab. I mean, folks, this is an example, and I'm just telling you, this is not a one-off. This is the type of shit that comes out of this guy's mouth. Okay? Let's listen to something else here. Now, this one, here's where he wants to tell you about inflation being, it's not right, it's wrong, it's false, and of course, he wants you to think that everything is fake. Buy gold. Here you go.
So, and inflation's horrid. Inflation is, ask anyone who buys something, inflation is not 2.5%. Mm-hmm. That's a fictional number.
Now, think about it for a second. Does Dave even know what makes up the inflation components, right? No. He'll talk about it here later on. I don't think I'm going to put it in here, but he doesn't know what he's talking about. Once again, folks, it's all about telling you can't trust the data, can't trust the government. Market's going to crash, right? His 40-year bear market, right? And you even heard some of his brilliant stock analysis. Normally, if you want to hear someone who's credible, who's going to talk about the debt of a company, they're going to go through and they're going to look at the balance sheet. Dave doesn't need to, because he knows that it's just a fake debt that they've created just so that they're not attacked for being a honeypot. They don't want to make him a honeypot, right? What a fucking idiot. So next thing is here, Dave wants to tell you that the healthcare is not in the GDP. That's right. Healthcare is not in the GDP.
Car requires replacing a whole unit of something, and so the cost of repair is way up. Healthcare is going to go into our GDP. That's an entertaining one. So our GDP is going to have healthcare in it. So what does that mean? So healthcare is not GDP. That's my assertion. It is not GDP.
Sorry, Dave, it is. You don't know what you're talking about. Your arguments and your analogies are fucking horse shit. Please, you're clueless. I'm not going to get into that. Just wanted to let you all know. It's another ridiculous claim. So here's one where he wants to name drop. Dave likes to name drop. I've talked about that before. If you listen to his videos, knowing that in advance, you'll easily spot it the way he does it subtly, right? Dave has a art of kind of downplaying, just kind of mentions, oh, wow, Dave, you're a great investor. Oh, wow, you know this person. Wow, right? He'll just, he's much better at doing that. In fact, Martin Armstrong, the fraud forecaster, should learn from Dave, because Martin Armstrong just does it. It's really pathetic how he does it.
Out of equilibrium. They say, oh, we're going to drop the rates 50 basis points. Now, for several years now, I've been on economic panels with famous people and disagreed with these famous economists.
Hear that?
Guys like Jim Stack and Peter Bookvar, and really guys who are just, I shouldn't be allowed to even take out the trash. Right?
Hear that? He knows a lot of famous people and been on economic panels with famous guys like Jim Stack. Now, Jim Stack is a guy who I mentioned, well, maybe not here, but on my site, I've talked about over the past few years. He's come out of the woodwork, and he actually made a false claim. He claimed that he predicted the financial crisis. I actually called his fucking office, and I told them, I warned his staff, if he doesn't stop making these false claims, I'm going to report him to the fucking financial regulators, because he know for a fact. I asked him, where's the evidence? So, well, he was warning his clients about something bad coming. I said, that's not predicting the financial crisis. That's bullshit. Okay? And he fucking stopped it. I said, look, he's got a good business here. He's got a lot of money he's managing. If he's going to pull this shit, I'm going to fucking report him. Boom! Jim Stack is obviously a fucking con man. He goes, take a look. Take a look. And if you don't know he's related from that name, you can just tell. He looks like William Shatner. Take a look. Jim Stack. He's a financial advisor guy, and he goes to the money show. That's all you need to know, folks. He's got the money show. Actually, James is what you want to look up. Take a look. There you go. Okay. So how is this guy famous? The only famous James Stack is this guy who is a musician, songwriter. The Money Show. There you go. I've talked about the Money Show is a fucking scam. It's a complete fucking scam. No doubt about it. And the trick that they use is that, folks, I'm telling you, every single person that you're going to see at the Money Show, you're going to see they're all fucking con artists. It's the dirtiest, sleaziest people. You've got people from the copy editing industry. You've got people from the trading industry, commodities, Forex. And what they'll do is, these are big events, huge events that they're free to go to. And all these guys, they have their own little conference rooms. They'll get you in the conference room. It's all private. And guess what? They're probably going to tell you some things that they wouldn't tell out in the open, out in the public, because they're going to tell you things that are illegal to say. They're going to say things that they don't want recorded. And so I challenge you, go to the Money Show, record the shit, especially in these private rooms. It's a bunch of fucking scam artists and fraudsters. I've been to the show. I've investigated a long time ago. It's a bunch of fucking scammers. I have stories about it. Complete fucking scam, Money Show is. In fact, not only that, they actually get your information, because you go to the Money Show, it's free, but guess what? They're going to get your information. They actually sell your information, because they tried to sell it to me. They actually tried to sell it. They sent me an email selling me information of the attendees, because they know it's a sucker list. The people at the Money Show, it's valuable. That list of who's there is a sucker list. You all know what a sucker list is, right? A sucker list is a list of fucking dumb money, idiots, that's sold. It's very valuable to scammers, because they know people are fucking naive and stupid, so they can sell them their scams. So, Money Show, obvious scam. Take a look. Oh, he's got a big Money Show bio here. He goes to the Money Show frequently. What does that tell you? Okay? You can take a look. The guy's been warning about a bear market for fucking years, year after year. Bear market, correction, bear market. Pressure's on the, you see that? Okay. So he's famous. No, he's not famous. Right? Sorry, Dave, he's not, maybe he's famous in your circles of all the fucking charlatans you hang around with, but he's not famous. Sorry. You got it wrong. And he also mentioned Peter Vakbar. You know, that weird looking dude? He's a mouthpiece on CNBC. Fucking clown. He's not famous. He's a fucking clown. And neither of those guys are economists, okay? You notice he said famous economists. Dave likes to talk a lot of shit. In fact, you'll see in one video, if you look at that 2015 conference at Porter Stansberry, he'll refer to that in his IRA video. He'll say, oh, I spoke in front of 1,000 money managers, and I told them about my IRA story, about how the Roth IRA is terrible. 1,000 money managers. Another one, he says 500. What he doesn't tell you, though, is they weren't money managers. Hey, Dave, newsflash. You were at Porter Stansberry's conference. Porter Stansberry is a known fraudster. Write that down. That is a fact. You hear that, Porter? Fact. Take me to fucking court on that. You can't do it. You'll fucking lose, bitch. You're a known fraudster. Dave, you hang out with known fraudsters and people that hang out with known fraudsters, like Porter Stansberry. They didn't have 1,000 money managers there. They had 1,000 crackpot copy editing clowns and penny stock promoting clowns. That's who was there, Dave. Stop misusing words like famous economists. No, they're neither famous nor economists. Jim Stack is not an economist. He's not famous. Peter Vakbar is not an economist. He's not famous. You didn't talk in front of 1,000 money managers. And basically Dave says, oh, and they didn't argue against my IRA pitch. They didn't say anything. They said it was right. You see how this guy twists everything around? What's that tell you about him? Either he has completely horrendous judgment to the point that he's mentally fucking ill, or he's just not that much of an honest guy. That's what that tells me. I'm not quite sure which one it is. I don't know. But clearly this guy is not trustworthy at all. A lot of hyperbole, a lot of horse shit. Even the smallest thing. And he twists it around, right? Which is very weird.
But I disagreed with them. And they've talked about how the Fed's going to do this and this and this, and it was always about easing when needed. And I said, I think you're underestimating Powell. Now, he did drop 50.
Okay, so let's take a look now. Now we're going to get to the one of the most common gold pumping discussions. It's about the BRICS. You know the BRICS, right? Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, the BRIC nations, right? They're going to unite and defeat the dollar dominance. You heard that one year after year, right? They're going to unite. They're against America. They're going to make their own currency. How long have you been hearing this shit? Okay, so let's take a look at the BRICS now. Who you got? Now, keep in mind, a few years ago, this argument was completely just a fucking hilarious joke. Why? Because a few years ago, you didn't have Russia, you didn't have China on their current path, right? Hostility, right? So this whole line from the gold bugs, so yeah, the BRICS are gonna. Once again, folks, it's all about trying to undermine anything you can with the U.S. economy, the U.S. stock market, the U.S. dollar, right? It's all bad, it's all fake, buy gold. I mean, these people are frauds. They're fucking frauds. Disinformation, stupid conspiratorial horseshit, and the worst thing is that it's like an ongoing narrative. It's the same fucking storyline year after fucking year. Okay? It's a complete fraudulent con job. And I say fraudulent because you got money involved. People are getting fucking paid. They're scamming people by brainwashing them with this horse shit. Folks, I know this whole song and dance. I'm the only person, not only the top person, but probably the only person in the world that exposed this shit more than 15 years ago. So I know it very well. So think about it for a second. Let's think about it today. Okay, China and Russia, okay. Obviously, you know, China and Russia aren't too pro-Western. Okay, great. Brazil, India, they're basically saying like they're all going to unite against America, against the dollar. Do you really think Brazil or India are going to do anything to piss off America? I don't think so. If you think so, you don't know what the fuck is going on. Not anything like that. Okay, India is strong allies with America. Anyone who doesn't know that doesn't know a whole lot. Brazil is a strong ally with America. Anyone who doesn't know that doesn't know a whole lot. Okay? But according to Collum and all these gold pumping fucking lunatics, they're all gonna come unite their currency, make a currency, a BRICS currency, and they're gonna do that. They're gonna do that to defeat the dollar dominance. Okay, and it's gonna be a gold-backed currency, it's backed by gold. That's what they're saying. That's the whole thing. Think about that. It's gonna be a gold-backed currency. You hear that? So let's go ahead and listen to that.
We're about to have our wake-up call. And the BRICS story, what a great story that is. The BRICS is a gigantic geopolitical realignment. And I spent a couple hours on the phone with Steve Hanke. He's a currency expert, so he should have a currency.
Like Steve Hanke, by the way, is this guy, this fucking clown economist at Johns Hopkins, who many years ago was actually riding the hyperinflation gravy train. he was actually promoting that shit. And I think he kind of realized it was hurting his credibility as a professor, and he jumped off that, and he got off that train. But he's still kind of aligned with the gold pumpers. Why? Because they're the only ones that's going to give him any fucking attention. By the way, FYI. I know the whole fucking song and dance on all these fucking guys, if you haven't already concluded that.
Centered view. And I said, but this is not about a currency. This is about global alliances. And he said, you're absolutely right. So he agreed. And so
he agreed. He agreed with me. Yeah, I'm right. So here, he also says basically that he claims that NATO could have stopped Russia, Ukraine. He could have stopped that if they wanted to. They didn't want to. That's what he said. And he also tells you that Putin's not in trouble. Putin's on top of. You listen to this guy and you wonder, does he realize that he's very pro-Russian? Maybe he's getting these pro-Russian ideas from Zero Hedge, the Russian state-supported blog. Right? I'm not going to go through and play all this garbage, but let me go ahead. Let's go ahead and play where he says gold-backed currency.
The 25 BRICS countries are fundamentally important countries.
Actually, BRICS, Dave, let me explain. BRICS actually stands for certain countries. When you say BRICS, as I said, it's Brazil, B, Russia, R, India, I, China, C, South Africa, S. You see, Dave, that's what BRICS stands for. You understand, Dave? It's not 25 countries. You got it? Okay, Dave? You taking notes? Take notes, Dave. You can learn some things here. This is just shocking. Who the fuck doesn't know this? Anyway.
Countries that are saying we are no longer hanging out with the United States. We're hanging out with so Michelle.
You hear that? So those countries, and of course, obviously India, Brazil, they're not going to hang out with the U.S. anymore. Okay. Just complete baseless horseshit. Dave Collum, maybe you're the new Alex Jones.
Macquarie Kitco asked me the other day about a BRICS meeting that's coming real soon, actually, where all the BRICS representatives are meeting in Russia to talk. And she said, how important is that? I said, you answered your question already. Mm-hmm. They're meeting in Russia. They're not meeting in Iceland. They're not meeting in Switzerland. They're meeting in Russia, right? This is the country that we've tried to demonize every step of the way. We've got 25 countries who are meeting in Russia. If you somehow think that means Putin's in trouble, you're dreaming. Mm-hmm. They're not meeting in Iceland. They're not meeting in Switzerland. They're meeting in Russia, right? This is the country that we've tried to demonize every step of the way. We've got 25 countries who are meeting in Russia. If you somehow think that means Putin's in trouble, you're dreaming. Mm-hmm. And I hear people, I got an argument yesterday with a guy who said Putin's in trouble and Russia's in trouble and the Ukrainians, it's great that they're fighting.
You hear that? So Dave wants to tell you that Putin is fine, just fine. He's not in trouble. Think about that for a second. I mean, what's going on in this guy's head? Why is this guy so pro-Russian? It's because he's brainwashed with the Zero Hedge horse shit. Is that it? I don't know, but clearly Putin is not doing so great, in case you didn't know that, Dave. I don't think Putin is doing so great. When you got the whole fucking advanced world against you. Let me repeat. When you have the whole advanced world against you, you're not doing well. The entire advanced world is against Russia. The entire advanced world and many other countries that aren't as advanced, right? Can you name one advanced country that's allied with Russia. China's not advanced. It's not an advanced country, by the way, in case you all didn't know that. China's not even a fucking market, not even a market economy, in case you all didn't know that. Okay? For any of you out there that think China's not a communist country, they don't even have a fucking, they're still a non-market economy. If you all don't know what that means, do a little fucking homework. Okay, why that's important for trade. So, and he goes on to say that NATO could have stopped Russia invading Ukraine if they wanted to, but apparently they didn't want to. Okay, just baseless, stupid horse shit. And here we go. Now, this is a great one here. You're going to love this one. This is really interesting, and this is kind of a segue into something else I looked into, which I may do in another stream. Collum believes now I'll go ahead and say, I believe the government was behind 9/11. I think a lot of people that do, or that are older, once again, if you're a professor at a high-profile university and you're in chemistry, not in politics, political science, or history, I think it really should keep your fucking mouth shut, honestly. But anyway, I'm going to play this because I want you to hear what he has to say, because it leads into actually NVIDIA. That's right. It leads into NVIDIA. So take a listen to this. It's very interesting. It's quite funny.
Especially since you can't even identify who did 9/11. I'm a truther, so you really can't identify who did 9/11, in my opinion. I think the odds the United States knowingly did 9/11 is in the 90 percentile zone. I happily bet big money. I'd buy that before I bought NVIDIA. How's that? I'd bet on 9/11 being an inside job more than I'd bet on NVIDIA being a good investment.
At this point.
For quite a few years now.
Mm-hmm. You hear that? So this guy's like, okay, at this point. So in other words, he's saying, oh, you mean it's gone up so much now and it's high, from here, you don't think it's a good investment. No, Dave says no. For several years, for quite a few years, he's saying NVIDIA hasn't been a good investment. Now, what's the basis of that? Let's listen to this.
Yeah, NVIDIA might become cheap. NVIDIA dropped 95% back in 2000. They could do it again. Mm-hmm. And they have a history of running scams.
So, okay, NVIDIA dropped 95%. I haven't checked. I don't know about 95%. Seems a little high, but okay, let's assume that. You all can check. They did that in 2000, he said, and they can do it again. That's his logic right there. Okay, great. It's a bad investment. Sour grapes. Dave, you should have gotten my research, buddy. Could have made you really rich, Dave. So, did you hear what he said, though? Last thing he said, they got a history of scams. Did you hear that? Is he talking about Supermicro Computer? That's the company with the history of scams, by the way, not NVIDIA. Let's listen to that again. I mean, folks, can you believe the horse shit coming out of this guy's mouth? It doesn't end here. This guy is constant. This is a typical interview. Just complete horse shit. Let's listen to this again. And mind you, he gets promoted all over the place by all these fucking fringe scam artist, gold pumping horseshit channels. And so this is what you have. Once again, he's being thrown out there, hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds of interviews, reaching millions of people. And why do you think you have a bunch of fucking stupid, delusional idiots out there? This is just one of these guys, Dave Collum. You've got tens of thousands of these guys on different levels, right? You've got the guys that do this full time for money, right? The conspiratorial, gold pumping horseshit guys, right? You've got the guys in the mainstream media all the time. You understand? Why do you think all of these fucking idiots are out there and they don't even realize that Tom Nash is a fraud? People are fucking idiots. They don't realize how fucking delusional they become. The internet has made them fucking stupid. They're believing guys like this. Listen again.
For quite a few years now.
Hear that?
Yeah. Yeah. NVIDIA might become cheap. NVIDIA dropped 95% back in 2000. They could do it again. Mm-hmm. And they have a history of running scams. A guy named Jack Gambles is talking about all the shell companies that are buying their chips from them and stuff like that.
So you see that? So you hear that very carefully. You know how he kind of mumbles around. I had to listen to it a couple of times to get it first. So he said they got a history of running scams, and a guy, I had to listen to it, and I looked up the guy, and you notice the bald guy here, the interviewing guy, he's like agreeing, yeah. A guy named Jack Gamble. So what that tells you, this Jack Gamble, instantly, this guy, the interviewer knows him. You know this Jack Gamble is running through the gold pumping circuits, okay? So you understand, right? So I looked into this Jack Gamble guy. I don't know if I'll get into him here, but just keep note. That's a reference there, and this might be the guy. I know there was a lot of people, a lot of fucking scammers, including this one guy. Somebody asked me to profile this Maverick of Wall Street. This fucking clown a couple of years ago was coming out telling everyone NVIDIA's earnings are a lie. They're fake. And by the way, Mr. Maverick of Wall Street likes to try and hide his accent. He's like, he should call himself like Jose Fuentes. Maverick Jose Fuentes. I mean, the guy's obviously Hispanic. Okay. I don't know how you can be a Maverick of Wall Street. Like, anyway, whatever. I mean, I don't know. I guess he's in America. But many people came out and were talking about making all these bullshit claims. NVIDIA's fake revenues. It's all fake. It's all lies. It's lies. It's lies. So apparently this guy, Gamble, has done the same thing. And this is why this is how this bullshit spreads. Okay. And you heard Dave Collum. And, Dave's going to believe anybody he hears in this whole gold pumping circuit. This is his fucking demise. This is his downfall. Completely fucking clueless. Dave, I know you're listening to this, dude. You need to go see a fucking neurologist, man. You really need to go see a fucking neurologist. Really. You've got some problems, man. No doubt about it. I'm not a professional, but that's my opinion anyway. So go ahead and continue here.
And the entire AI movement has not figured out how to monetize anything.
So, and by the way, so the claim is that, NVIDIA's shell companies are buying NVIDIA chips. And so that's supposed to be a scam? So fucking what? So what's your point? Oh, it's a scam because it's fake companies. So in other words, he's basically implying that it's not real demand. That's what he's saying, basically. There's fucking criminal companies out there that want to fucking hide. So what? I mean, they're buying the chips. You don't know what you're talking about. Just fucking shut up. Stop your horse shit. Your fake news horse shit. This is fraud. This is fraud. Okay? You can talk about all this. When you're talking this stuff, it's goddamn fraud. But fortunately for you, no one of any worth takes you seriously, so you're not going to find yourself in court being sued by NVIDIA.
So at some point, it's like, we're not going to support a $3 trillion company. And they have a history of running scams.
You hear that? NVIDIA has a history of running scams. Where's the evidence? Hey, Dave, let's go. I mean, can you believe... This is why I can't even express to you guys how unbelievable it is to hear this guy speak, because I have a chemistry background. I have a very strong science background. I don't just come out and say things. If you're going to come out and make a statement like that, you have to have the fucking support, the backing. You can't just come out. And this guy just come out. He just flails everything out. Just complete horseshit. And he's a professor. He's a professor of chemistry. And he does this. This is why I doubt this guy. This is why this guy is very suspect to me. Okay? And so he's claiming NVIDIA has a history of scams. And now he's claiming that, okay, AI does nothing. And basically, because it does nothing, the stock can't stay at its market cap because it's going to collapse because AI does nothing. So let's revisit that here. Hear what he says here. Now, those who get my research know I've talked about the AI hype. It's overblown. There's no doubt about it. It's completely overblown, and it's a lot of wasted money, a lot of fucking delusions of grandeur, and this is how these things kind of play out. And there will be a corrective period. There's no doubt about it. But let's listen to what he has to say again. Now, keep in mind, once again, he told you first of all that NVIDIA is a bad investment. Then he tells you they have a history of scams, right? Then he tells you that basically there's not real demand there because basically fake companies, there's fake revenues. Shell companies are buying the stuff, and then he wants to tell you to convince you once again that AI does nothing, so there's not going to be demand, and the stock's going to collapse. So he's basically just giving you anything he can think of, right, to tell you it's a terrible investment because he missed it. He missed out on the huge fucking rally. He missed out on the monster gains, the most valuable company on earth, the biggest fucking news ever. And who's the guy that's behind that shit as an investment analyst? Me. I'm the number one guy in the world. Okay? The number one guy. That there's nobody else in the world that picked NVIDIA as their number one pick for long-term growth more than 15 years ago. I'm the guy. Okay? And had that maintained every year, by the way. Okay? So, let's listen to this again.
Being a good investment.
At this point.
For quite a few years now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, NVIDIA might become cheap. NVIDIA dropped 95% back in 2000. They could do it again.
Mm-hmm.
And they have a history of running scams. A guy named Jack Gambles is talking about all the shell companies that are buying their chips from them and stuff like that. And the entire AI movement has not figured out how to monetize anything. So at some point, it's like, we're not going to support a $3 trillion company to make chips that don't make us any money.
It's obviously completely wrong. He's saying they haven't figured out how to monetize that, how to make money. It's not they're making money now. Okay? They're making money now. Now, and so it's basically, they're not going to make any money, Complete exaggeration, complete hyperbole, complete horseshit. What's going to happen is that eventually they're going to slow down. It's going to be one of two things that are going to slow it down. It's going to be a recession that happens. It's going to completely fucking be it's going to be a rug pull on the spending, or it's going to be an eventual awareness that, hey, you know what? It's taking longer, for the payouts to come, and you're going to get a slowdown eventually. But clearly, AI is not going away. Okay, it's not going away. It's not fake. There's plenty of money there. It's kind of like the EV push. The EV push is not going away. There's too much money involved. Okay, but this guy wants you to think that basically the bottom's going to fall out of NVIDIA. It's a nothing stock. They're involved in scams, right? That's what he says. Complete horseshit. I mean, think about it for a second. You would think this guy is like not educated. Complete baseless, conspiratorial, hyperbole horseshit. Nothing logical, nothing rational, nothing, just really weird. Really, really fucking weird to come out of a professor of chemistry, out of his mouth. Something is going on in this guy's head. I don't know what it is, but it's very strange. That's all I got to say.
And people don't think China's going to come up with a chip. Taiwan's going to come up with another. By the way, I don't think NVIDIA makes its own chips. I think it's a Taiwanese company that makes the chips.
What?
It's NVIDIA making all the money. I don't know. I don't understand the economic.
You hear that? So there's two things there. So first of all, he has even another one. Another reason why NVIDIA is a terrible investment. You think China isn't going to make their own chip? Taiwan isn't going to make their own chip? You notice that? Anything you can think of to pull out of his ass. Anything credible there? No. Dave, in case you don't fucking know, China doesn't have the technological capability of making anything close to NVIDIA. You got that? They don't even have their fucking own lithography machines. You got that? China is collapsing gradually as we are withholding the high-tech chips from them. You understand that, right? No, you don't. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Okay? If you're going to talk about companies that are going to rival potentially NVIDIA, their GPUs, you can talk about Apple. You can talk about Amazon. Okay? But to bring China up, I mean, are you fucking okay? We'll worry about that in 100 fucking years. I mean, really? Fucking idiot. And the second thing it really shows you how clueless this guy is, and he doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. Did you hear what he said? NVIDIA doesn't even make its own chips. NVIDIA doesn't, you hear that? NVIDIA doesn't even make its own chips. Taiwan makes their chips. Why is NVIDIA making all the money? I don't understand that. That's weird. Did you hear that? You all know what NVIDIA does. You all know it. You all understand the semiconductor industry. The most valuable companies are the companies that design the fucking chips, the GPUs, everything. They design it. You got it? The lower value companies are the ones that are in the manufacturing plants. Okay, Qualcomm doesn't make chips. Qualcomm designs chips. You understand? NVIDIA doesn't make chips. It designs the chips. It's the design that's what is essential. You think it's like fucking artwork, Dave? Dave doesn't even know this. Did you hear this? I mean, this is a guy, once again, take a step back, think about it. He wants to tell you how NVIDIA is a bad investment. They're a scam company. They have a history of scams, he says, right? There's no demand. Basically, the demand is fake because the shell companies are buying it, and AI does nothing, right? He's telling you all these things. China's going to replace it. Oh, and by the way, they don't even make their own chips. Yeah, that's how it works, Dave. Learn something about the fucking industry before you open your fucking mouth and show the world what an idiot you are. And I hope your fucking students see this video to see what a fucking idiot you are. And I would not have confidence in you as a chemistry professor because you are so delusional. How can you be this fucking delusional? How can you think that you are competent in these areas that you are completely fucking clueless in? And I don't understand. I can't have confidence in you in anything, Dave. Let's listen to that again. Fucking moron.
Taiwan's going to come up with another. By the way, I don't think NVIDIA makes its own chips. I think it's a Taiwanese company that makes the chips. Why is NVIDIA making all the money? I don't know. I don't understand the economics.
Yeah, I know you don't. So, you obviously don't understand a lot. So why are you flapping your fucking mouth and making all these stupid claims, these wild claims, these baseless, untrue claims, Dave? You have a history of doing that. That's what you do. That's what you do. Can you imagine, Dave, if you had your students doing that to you? Jesus. This guy needs to be slapped around, needs to be told the deal. Okay? And this needs to go around to everybody that's interviewing this fucking idiot. Doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. Now, the next topic here, Dave wants to talk more about his 44-year bear market.
Idea of this 40-year bear market.
Mm-hmm.
Is that why gold makes sense to you? Does it still make sense to you? And after this, significant rise that we've seen over the last year, does it make you want to trim any of those profits, or has your conviction in it become stronger?
My conviction is pretty high. I could imagine a scenario where gold is the world's reserve currency 10 years from now.
Yeah, you can imagine anything that's not going to happen because you're fucking delusional, Dave. Folks, let me explain something. Anyone who says that gold will be a reserve currency, right, doesn't understand how the economic system works, unless there's going to be some radical changes. Okay? A gold-backed monetary system is history. That's never going to happen again, not in the West anyway. Because the economy, like it or not, is fueled by credit. And you can't have a credit-based economy if it's backed by gold, if it's backed by a finite resource. Okay? And I can assure you, there's no way, it's virtually impossible for us to go back to something like a gold-based economy. It's practically impossible. It would take numerous years, and that's assuming that the people in charge wanted to. And I can guarantee you, they don't want to. It's never going to happen. A gold-backed currency in the U.S., in any major economy, is not ever going to happen. Write that down. Not in our lifetimes anyway, or anything, I don't even think ever. If you don't understand that, then you don't understand how the modern economic system works or the capital markets work. I'm not here to tell you what I like, what I want, what I don't like, and what I want, because it doesn't matter. I don't really care. None of that matters. I work with what I'm faced with. I'm not the guy making the decision. I'm the guy trying to navigate through what we have to deal with. That's why I never talk about all this horse shit about this and that. I don't care. The guys that talk about this horse shit, it's part of their bandwagon, the typical gold pumping nonsense. Dave doesn't know what the hell's going on. He's just repeating the same lines as these gold pumpers. Here you go. I'm not going to play this. It's not worth it. But he mentions John Williams in this next segment here. It's interesting here. Dave wants to tell you that consumption does not fit into GDP. It doesn't fit.
You produce, and then the fruits of that labor become consumption. There's nothing about consumption that fits into the phrase gross domestic product.
Dave just wants to tell you basically, consumption it should not be included in GDP. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He doesn't know how, and he wants to peg this on America as if America is the only consumption-based country. No, Dave, you don't understand how our economic system works. The only countries, essentially, that, to my knowledge, that don't have a majority consumption-based economy are actually developing countries, countries that are considered to have lower economic development. It's the goal of all countries. It's their goal to actually become consumer based. In fact, China is working its way. China's ambition is to become a consumption based economy. And by that, I mean majority of their economic growth comes from consumption. That's their goal. They're working towards that. I'm not going to get into the reasoning why. I'm not going to tell you if I agree or disagree or whatever. None of that matters. But Dave basically wants to kind of try and pin this on America. Oh, America's economy is not real. It's fake and this and all that. The same horseshit the gold pumpers have been pushing for all these years. Doesn't even fucking matter. And then here we go. Dave wants to give you examples how much of an amazing investor he is here. He's always got these anecdotes. He's such an amazing guy.
What kind of goofy situation is that? So that's kind of Triffin's dilemma, right? Triffin's dilemma says that being reserve currency is a suicide mission, and that you have to run a trade imbalance, and eventually your currency dies. And so yeah, I'm comfortable with gold. What also makes it easy, my cost basis of gold depends which ounce you look at, but it began at 270, and my silver cost basis is somewhere in the high threes. Wow. And I remember buying quite a bit up to 290. And then I remember when gold went over 300, 310, 320, and I had friends saying, oh, you should sell now. And I white knuckled it. I remember buying it at 457. How do I remember this? Well, I had a deal with the local coin dealer where I'd say, look, you get a couple ounces, I'll bring cash down, I'll pay for it. So for 20 years, I took cash down to the local coin dealer and would take the ounces.
So he goes through this whole little thing, wants to tell you how he bought gold. Wow, you're a genius. You bought it. I can guarantee you this is not true. This is a lie. How do I know this? Because this is a guy who was pumping gold on the whole gold bandwagon, telling you how great it was back in 2010 and 2011 and 2012 and 2013. Imagine a guy who thinks gold is the greatest thing, and he's telling you the last time he bought it was basically, if you look at the cost basis, what he's saying, 300, 350 back in 2004, 2003. Now, you really believe that, right? And it's so great, but it's coming down by 40% from the highs in 2011. It goes down close to 40% over the next 4 years. And you're telling me a guy that loves gold so much doesn't think it's a great bargain? Of course he's lying. But it doesn't matter. It's part about showing you he's a great investor. And that's what he does his little year. And I'm a great, look at my portfolio. And Dave, don't post shit unless you're going to fucking prove it. Okay? You see, because the problem I take with this is because he's trying to show that, oh, I know what I'm talking about. I look at if you're going to try and show your results as a way to convince people that what you're saying is credible, and I can tell you this, I don't care what his investments are. This guy what comes out of his mouth is not fucking credible. Okay? But if you're going to do that, you show the evidence. Otherwise, shut your mouth. Don't talk about your rainbow chasing bullshit. Oh, I bought this and I had this. Shut your mouth or show the fucking evidence. Okay? You got it? Stop lying, Dave. If you don't show the proof, you're lying. You think I'd believe anything that comes out of your mouth? You're just talking a bunch of horse shit. Complete bullshit artist. I didn't realize this guy was such a bullshit. I didn't realize it was this bad, honestly. I really didn't. Here you go. Here's another one. He wants to tell you what a great investor is. He's going to talk about, how great, he spotted all the bubbles. Dave spots all the bubbles. You all saw the little 2002 email. He claims that he predicted the financial crisis from that, right? Yet, I'd like to see his portfolio, what he did, right? He's got another little story here for you from the dot-com bubble.
So no, and then the question, what are you going to do? Buy U.S. debt? No. You're going to buy equities that are 150% overvalued? No. You're going to buy real estate? It doesn't feel like the right time for that one, right? Airbnbs are going on the market. Commercial real estate looks like it not only is in crash mode, but you can make the case that we're not going to need office buildings the way we did before. And it's hard to picture malls coming back. Strip malls are. It's like a book for when they say strip malls are going to do okay. And I remember thinking, why? Then he pointed out that what's a strip mall have? Well, unlike an enclosed mall, strip malls have
hold on a second.
The bottom. Mm-hmm. When it goes on sale, you got to be cashed up, which means you have to be in cash at the top because you can't ride the thing down and get your ass kicked and then have money. Mm-hmm. And so you really have to be able to sit on cash when everybody else is partying like it's 1999. And that's painful. And I did that in 90.
You hear that? So he's basically telling you when things are going great, sit on cash because you know the collapse is coming. And I have to believe this is what this guy's been doing now for the past at least 15 years. Okay. He hasn't been in the stock market. He's missed on all these amazing gains. That's why he's pissed off. I mean, Nvidia alone is up, what, 200% this year, right? Not to mention Netflix is up another 100% this year. Nvidia's up, what, 500% in the past 3 years or something like that? Okay. Now, if he'd bought Nvidia when I started recommending it, well, he'd be up. By now, it's probably about 60,000% or so. But you see, he wants to convince people to sit on cash. Folks, that's the worst thing you can fucking do. If anything, don't worry about it. If you don't have somebody to show you how to navigate things, you're best to stay in the fucking market. Because you risk getting out and missing out and never getting back in. Because you're going to listen to horse shit from the likes of this guy. Going to scare you. Okay? But let's go ahead and listen to what he has to say here.
9 well. And I watched the NASDAQ go for another 9 months at least after I sold WorldCom for a 700% gain. I sold Dell for a 700% gain. I had a company called Tomer, which is a bottle recycling company, for about a 400% gain. Warner Lambert, Lipitor, I think, was Warner Lambert. Oh, I thought I was a genius, but then I got scared of the markets. I sold them all. I put tight stops behind them. By mid-99, I was completely out. So the blind nut found a squirrel, and I started buying gold.
So once again, wow, you know what's going on. Really? Folks, if you believe this guy, then you're going to believe just about any fucking huckster out there, right? This guy doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. He talks a lot, but he doesn't have any evidence to back anything, including his allegations. Nvidia has a history of scams, so on and so forth. This guy is a complete bullshit artist. Dave, Collum, you're a fucking bullshit artist. Now, you want to prove to me anything? I'd like to see everything you prove to me. Anything you're saying you want to prove to me it's true, let's go. Let's fucking go. Okay. Otherwise, I think you're a bold-faced liar, and I think you should shut the fuck up and go back to the lab. And so here's Dave, as we move on, Dave starts to get into talking about these penny stocks. He talks about platinum and all this horse shit.
And I don't know
why platinum?
One versus two, man.
Oh,
platinum's a problem. Platinum. I got into the platinum because of platinum miners. They look dirt cheap. I saw a 100-click YouTube. That's not exactly high visibility YouTube. But the guy went through the balance sheet of a couple of the platinum miners. And if you look at them, they're dirt cheap by any metric, on absolute scales, with money, cash on the balance sheet, and dividends and everything about them. And they're all in South Africa. So I bought some of them. Not enough to get crushed, even if they got crushed. But how do you get crushed off a PE of 5 with a dividend of 9, right? I mean,
so you hear this guy, he doesn't even fucking know. Folks, like I said, any of these small cap, these penny stock miners, I wouldn't trust shit. Okay? I buy one gold stock, and that's it. And I fucking basically trade it based upon macroeconomic cycle, valuation, back and forth, and that's it. Because you know what? If I get stuck in it, it's a blue chip. It's solid. It's not a bullshit company. Okay? What Collum doesn't even fucking realize, I guess, is that he's being pitched a bunch of horse shit, and he thinks he can actually look at numbers and thinks that they're real. Okay? Look at the PE ratio. Look at the dividend. A lot of that shit, I mean, you're buying mining stocks. Do you understand what you have? you have companies that are claiming proven reserves, right? In fact, I just saw a video um, on ScamTube about a gold mining stock, I guess the biggest fraud ever. I think it was called Baytex back in the 80s. Some guy was a multi-billion-dollar fraud who he claimed all these reserves, and it was a complete scam. You all can look it up. Big time fraud. Okay? When you're dealing with mining stocks, folks, that's a very fucking shady area, believe me. Okay? Especially when you're dealing with the small caps. I would never stay away from all the fucking penny stock miners. I can tell you that right now. Because chances are extremely high that they're fucking scams. I can tell you that right now. Because why? Because most of them are on the bulletin board, or they're in the Toronto Venture Exchange or some other bullshit whereby they don't have to report a lot of the things that stocks on real markets have to. Therefore, they can hide things like, for instance, they don't have to report compensation. So, for instance, they will issue massive amounts of stock options or stock shares to a lot of guys that promote them. They'll dilute the fuck out of the shares. You don't know what's going on. Okay? You'll know how. So stay away. That's why I say these gold pumpers, it's not just about pumping the price of gold. That's the beginning. They got you in that narrative, and you're going to have people that are greedy, desperate, and broke, and they're going to say, well, okay, I don't have a whole lot of money, so I want to play these gold junior miners because Doug Casey says it's a great stock and he's invested in it, right? And so they buy these fucking penny stocks and they get blown up. I'm telling you right now, that's the way it works. Why do you think these guys are all pushing all this horse shit? Okay? All these guys are spending huge amounts of money. Understand, all alternative media and even mainstream media to some extent, depending on what you're talking about. Imagine over the past 10 years, maybe you don't have a good memory, over the past 15 years, over the past even close to 20 years, how much money has been spent on gold advertisements? We're talking billions of dollars. Who's going to pay for that? The idiots who are buying gold. Okay? You're talking massive, massive money on ads. Why? Why are they spending so much money to advertise to get you to buy gold? Think about it. They're telling you fiat currency is worthless. It's worth nothing. Yet they want your fiat currency to buy their fucking gold. And they're spending a lot of money to get you to do that. Why? Because they're fucking scam artists. Gold, precious metals dealers are fucking scammers. Okay? Write it down. They're all fucking scammers. Okay? I know this whole fucking industry better than anybody. I know this whole fucking thing. None of these guys would ever fucking go up against me. I've dispelled all the myths on gold. Many articles over the years I wrote on gold, videos. It's all a bunch of horse shit. Don't believe a single fucking thing that comes out of these guys' mouth. And this Dave Collum, it's a great example. A perfect example. This guy doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. He's just flailing shit out of his mouth. All these guys. No fucking credibility at all. And I know Dave's going to see this. He saw the other one. Dave, you thought that was something. I think you're going to like this one. And Dave, we can do it again. I can go again. I can start to look into you. I haven't really looked into you. Okay, believe me, I haven't. Just give me a reason why I should. I mean, actually, Dave, you want to be a man instead of calling you little fucking trolls. Be a man and confront me one-on-one live on a neutral platform, Dave. Let's go. Let's go, Dave. Are you afraid, Dave? Are you afraid? You should be. because you're full of shit and I'm legit. Now, if you want to learn, I'll teach you, Dave. Just because we're kind of brothers. We're both from the chemistry area, right? Even though I'm not related to you. But I don't think Dave wants to learn, folks. He doesn't want to learn. His ego is too big. He wants to play in front of an audience. He wants to feel important. He wants to feel like he's the smartest guy in the room. Because I guess amongst his peers, he doesn't feel like the smartest guy in the room. I guess, it's pretty easy to feel like the smartest guy in the room when you're hanging around a bunch of fucking gold pumping lunatic scam artists, because they're all a bunch of fucking idiots. But guess what, Dave? Even among these guys, I don't know that you're the smartest guy in their room, which is pretty fucking embarrassing. That's all I have, folks. Actually, before I end, I'm going to show you one more thing here, because I looked up this guy very quickly just to look up his channel. He mentioned this guy, Jack, I guess it's Jack Gamble, who was coming out apparently with videos claiming NVIDIA is a scam company. Its revenues are fake. And apparently this guy is on the gold pumping circuit. So in other words, this guy is, if you take a look at his channel, here's his channel right here. And Nobody Special Finance. Okay. Take a look at his latest videos. Let's take a look at his oldest videos. Okay. Well, actually, before we do that, let's take a look at this video. This is where I saw it. I looked up the guy's name. This is the first video I saw here. I haven't seen the video. I just kind of saw the, where is it? And I did a search of him. It turns out he's like on his channel a lot. So it might be his channel. I don't know. Actually, here we go. Yeah, this is the video that I saw.
Why is everyone spiraling over?
God. Is this it? Yeah. Oh no, this is the Wolf. This is the Maverick of Wall Street, fucking scam artist. Listen to this clown. So he wants to show you a scene of like Manhattan. Yeah, and the bell. Yeah, makes me feel like I'm there. He's legit. It's kind of like showing you the all the screens, right? The trading screens in the background, right? Listen to this guy. Listen to this fucking clown speak.
All right. Today is Saturday, May 27th.
You hear that? All right. He reminds me of that guy, that Singaporean guy, who tries to like mask his Singaporean accent. How you doing? What's his name? What's that guy's name who like tells you can trade, you can day trade if you know technical analysis? What a fucking bullshit. What's his name? Trainer? Anybody know Trainer? I'm going to show you this guy. I want you to hear this guy. It's because it's obvious, like Trainer stocks. I don't know what's his name. Trainer. Stock Mo. Get stinking rich. What a fraud. Anybody that puts this shit's a fraud. What's the guy's name? Trainer. Trainer. Let's see. Forgot his name. I should profile this guy. I haven't profiled this guy. I mentioned he's a fucking scam artist. He's been on YouTube a long time before a lot of these guys. Anyway, he's a little Singaporean guy. He doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. It's just like, if you're stupid, you don't know anything, you think like he does. Oh, you follow the RSI and the MACD. It's fucking stupid horse shit. But anyway, he's like, what's up, my friends? He tries to, like, you know, to mask his, like, obvious Singaporean accent, just like this guy. He's doing the same thing, right? Listen, it's funny.
Right. Today is Saturday, May 20th.
Yeah, that's who it is. Rainer, this guy. Rainer, or I don't know how to spell his name. Yeah, is this guy? T.O.? Doesn't look like him. No, that's not him. But obviously he's another one of these fucking scammers. Oh, no, it is him. I didn't realize he was up to 2 million. Jesus Christ, this guy's a fucking clown. Total fucking clown. Doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. Take a look. Notice he's got humble trader there. You see, folks, this is what I'm talking about. The circle jerk, right? The scammers hang out. You see that? Like, I don't remember this guy ever having anybody on his channel. He normally just goes over his technical. Now, this guy's obviously a scammer. You all know that, right? Complete fucking scammer. Absolute fraud. Rainer T.O. You all know that, right? And by the way, let him know he wants to go up against me live. He'll just ignore it. Because why? Folks, if I don't have the fucking subscribers, nobody cares. Nobody gives a shit. If I had a lot of people watching my videos,
we live in a cloud.
These motherfuckers are going to get worried, and they're going to have to respond. So they don't care because nobody watches, you see? This guy's a fucking clown. Doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about.
Hey.
Here you go. Hey. What a fucking idiot. I mean, listen.
Hey, what's up, my friend? So
you notice that he tries to put a little, like, I don't know, country accent there, right? Oh, okay. Hi, Rainer. Are you from America? Oh, okay. Oh, you're not. Oh, Singapore. Oh, you're not from Singapore, because we know Singapore is a lot of where scams are from. Anyway, that's what this guy tries to do, right? Listen, notice.
All right. Today is Saturday, May 20th.
All right. You can tell it doesn't sound natural, right? Because if it's natural, his normal accent's gonna shine through, I would say. But listen to this guy.
27th. Happy Memorial Day weekend. Hope everybody's enjoying the time off. But folks, we have a quick market discussion here.
So you all know he's doing a lot to mask his accent. I don't know for sure, but my guess is he's Hispanic. Okay? He could be something else, like Eastern European or something like that. But I would say he's Hispanic. But anyway, just FYI. It's fucking clown. And this is not the video, I don't believe. It could be. It could be it. But he basically talking about NVIDIA. It's complete bullshit. Just trashing NVIDIA for such a long time. And anyway, let's get to this video. Here's a video I saw on Jack Gamble. Now, Jack Gamble, once again, as a reminder, he's the name that Dave Collum mentioned as a guy who had been making videos claiming that NVIDIA was a scam company and was not even really legitimately making the sales that it was, because he claimed that a lot of these companies are shell companies. In other words, the implication from Dave was that it's fake revenues. Like, the companies were set up as shell companies by NVIDIA as a way to make it look like that there's demand. I mean, can you believe this nonsense? That folks, this is why you have people that when there's a certain, say, alternative version of something that happened, like for instance, he believes that 9/11, the government was involved in 9/11, right? I believe it too. So the problem is, you can say, oh, so you believe what Dave Collum believes, right? So it kind of discredits anything that's real, because when you have crackpots that actually kind of get lucky and believe something that's actually quite possible, right, that you believe, well, someone will try and discredit you with associating you with the crackpot that also believes the same thing that you do. That's kind of an issue. That's kind of a problem. So, I mean, obviously this Maverick guy's a fucking scammer. What do you think? I mean, come on, dude. This guy's show me someone on YouTube pitching stocks that's not a scammer. I mean, that's what you need to do. So this guy, he's on Stock Pulse. They want to show you this little, I guess it's fitting they're showing you Las Vegas, because that's the center of where all the scams are in terms of the events. They always seem to be in Vegas. So notice they're showing like some conferences, and I'm willing to bet these conferences are like precious metals or some fucking horse shit that they're pitching. Because folks, let me just tell you right now, you're never going to have a legitimate investment conference ever. Write that down. It's always going to be an event that's held by stock promoters. That's what you guys don't understand. All these investment conferences are held by stock promoters. They're funded by stock promoters. They're sponsored by stock promoters. It's all a scam. Okay? The only investment conference legit that you're ever going to hear about, but you probably won't be able to go to, is something held strictly by, it's a Wall Street event. Now, you may even find some Wall Street people from big firms at some of these scam events. I've seen it before. It's rare, but sometimes you'll see someone from like, Merrill Lynch or someone at like the Money Show. Okay? But they're not in charge of it. I can tell you, without exception, all these investment conferences are all fucking scams. They're all pitching horse shit. Okay? Mark my words. Why do you think? Well, in some cases, they're going to charge you money, right? Those are the ones that are going to pitch you horseshit narratives, okay? But the big ones, the really big ones, are going to be free. Why? Because they're so big, they can get a huge audience, and the audience is going to basically indirectly fund the sponsors. If you have a big event with a lot of people coming, well, your sponsors want to buy ad slots. They want to pay for booths, right? They want to sponsor the event because they get the promo in front of the audience. If the event's smaller, then they're going to tend to charge, okay? Because they'll have sponsors, they'll have scams, but they're not going to have as many, you see? And this is what's going on YouTube now. You have all these little economic conferences held by all these scam artists like George Gammon and all this bullshit, right? Patrick Bet-David, all this horse shit. They're all fucking scams, all of them. Okay. So anyway. See, look, Silver Symposium. There you go. So think about it for a second. Like, what would you expect if you're going to go to some meeting called Silver Symposium? Do you think you're going to go there? Like, I would only want to go there if I owned a lot of silver and like I was losing a lot of money. Okay. I would only want to go there if I was in the hole huge. In other words, I would want to go there to get some type of an optimism and hope as opposed to jumping off the fucking bridge. Okay. right? I wouldn't want to go there to get some type of objective information about investing in precious metals, because you're not going to get that there. It's all a fucking obvious sales pitch. It's a dangerous thing to go to one of these events because you know exactly what the fucking agenda is. The agenda is to pitch you horse shit, right? And it's not just silver here. I'm sure they're going to promote gold and penny stock. You're going to have all types of penny stock promoters and all types of horse shit. That's what you get at these types of conferences, by the way. Okay?
My name's Jack Gamble. I call myself nobody special on my channel because my background's not finance. My background is mechanical engineering. That's what I went to college for.
Okay, great. You fix doors. You attach doors to the fucking hinges. Okay, that's mechanical engineering. So here's a guy. This is what the first video I saw, and I see him pitching at the Silver Symposium. So this tells you his whole pitch. You understand? So in other words, you don't have an analyst, a Wall Street analyst, coming out and trashing NVIDIA. You've got this guy who's a complete fucking clown, and he wants to jump aboard some type of promotional gravy train. Well, folks, easiest way to do that several years ago was to come out and trash the stock market, pitch gold and silver, and you're going to be promoted no matter what you do. You're a jazz musician that can't fucking make it. Guess what? You start talking about gold being the savior, the dollar going to zero, and you're going to get promoted. And guess what? Eventually, you'll get people to go to your fucking events. You'll get the stooges, the gold pumping stooges that will support you. That's what this guy's doing, right? I said several years ago, yeah, you can still do that now, but the more frequent thing to do, the more successful thing to do these days, is to jump aboard the cryptocurrency bandwagon and promote cryptocurrencies. Then you'll be interviewed by many channels. You'll be promoted, right? And you can jump aboard that grifting gravy train. You understand? So understand this. It's all about exposure. Some of you who have heard me before, I said the whole key is about exposure. I know this better than anybody in the fucking world because I've been banned from day goddamn one. Okay? Nobody knows who I am. I don't fucking exist. It's all about exposure. The people with the highest exposure, right? They're the ones that get known. They're the ones that can sell shit on a stick. It doesn't matter. You understand? That's why all these people, Nomi Prinz, the fucking scam artist, right? She jumped aboard that bandwagon, pitching the lines of the gold pumpers because she knew she'd get interviewed by countless channels and she could pitch that whole line. And guess what? From that exposure, she's going to have people buying her books. Same thing with this guy. Same thing with all these motherfuckers. They sell out. Some of them don't believe it, but they sell out because they want to get that exposure. They're frauds. You all understand. This is how it works, folks. Okay? I've never sold out. I've always fucking held my ground. And I've always told the fucking truth. That's why I've always been fucking banned. Even by alternative media. I've been banned by every fucking body. Okay? Understand that. And then look at my track record. Okay? You understand? I can fucking say this with confidence. I am the goddamn real deal. I am the only fucking real deal. And I'm not even talking about investments at this stage. I'm talking about all this horse shit. Because it goes very fucking deep. All these people out there are frauds. I've been looking for 20 fucking years, not just investment. I'm talking about everything, about what's going on. And they're all frauds. All of them. And guess what? They all have big followings. Okay? That's the deal. You want a big following? You're going to be a fraud. You're not going to be honest or you're not going to have a following. If you're telling the full truth and nothing but the full truth, at some point it's going to hurt somebody here, somebody over there, somebody over here, somebody over there. You're going to make a lot of enemies. You're going to get shut down. That's how the whole fucking system works. And these people know that. People that are lying to everyone, they know that. They don't care. All they care about is making money, pitching their bullshit, pitching their lies, telling half-truths. That's how the whole fucking system works. That's what I've learned over these past 20 years of going through this shit full time.
Pretty ordinary career path for me. I finished college, got my degree in mechanical engineering. I went to work on a commercial fishing boat. From there.
Now, if you can't tell by the way he talks or the way he looks, then maybe you can tell from his last name. He's related to the gold pumping scammers, FYI.
There, I became a nuclear engineer. I did that for 15 years. And then in 2020, the quintessential midlife crisis hit. So I quit my job as a nuclear engineer. I became a volunteer firefighter and started a YouTube channel.
Wait a second. How did he go from mechanical engineer to nuclear engineer? That's kind of strange. Did I miss something here? Let's hear that again. That's interesting. I mean, did I miss something? Okay.
I call myself nobody special on my channel because my background's not finance. My background is mechanical engineering. That's what I went to college for.
You hear that? Okay, you all got that. His background is mechanical engineering. It's what he went to college for. Okay.
Pretty ordinary career path for me. I finished college, got my degree in mechanical engineering. I went to work on a commercial fishing boat. From there, I became a nuclear engineer.
Hold on. So that's interesting, by the way. And this is all, you say, well, gosh, Mike, why are you talking? What does this matter? It does matter. Okay. Because sometimes you can kind of, like, okay, you're a mechanical engineer, and then you went to work on a commercial fishing boat. That's bizarre. But anyway.
I did that for 15 years. And then in 2020, the quintessential midlife crisis hit. So I quit my job as a nuclear engineer. I became.
Wait a second. Did I miss something? Okay, let's try it again.
Pretty ordinary career path for me. I finished college, got my degree in mechanical engineering. I went to work on a commercial fishing boat. From there, I became a nuclear engineer. I did that for 15 years. And then in 20.
So interesting. So he worked on a commercial fishing boat, and then he became a nuclear engineer. You hear that? So he started out, he was a mechanical engineer. That's what he went to school for. And then all of a sudden he became a nuclear engineer. You got to go back to school for that, right? You hear that? That's a little bit strange. Something doesn't make sense there, but maybe it's not a big deal. But anyway, I just wanted to kind of, that's bizarre.
2020, the quintessential midlife crisis hit. So I quit my job as a nuclear engineer. I became a volunteer firefighter and started a YouTube channel.
Now that's pretty strange. Kind of sounds like Tom Nash story, right? I quit my job as a nuclear engineer and became a volunteer firefighter and started a YouTube channel because I wanted to help the world. I wanted to become a right. Tom Nash wants to tell everyone he quit his job as a Wall Street analyst to help expose scammers on YouTube. That was his backstory, by the way, before he changed it many times. So this guy, he did all this to start a YouTube channel. Clearly, there's something that's not right in his backstory. Something doesn't make sense there. There's something that's not quite right. I can tell you, I will guarantee you right now. Guaranteed, something is wrong with this guy's story. I don't know what, but anyway, I'll just tell you, I can guarantee you, I know enough to tell you that. It's obvious.
Brings us here. So pretty straightforward stuff, right? So this story,
folks, people with stable careers don't quit their jobs, okay, to start a YouTube channel. Just to start a channel for what? For whatever, right? And let's actually take a look now, by the way. I want to take a look and see. So he quit his job. I mean, he's been working for what? Around 20 years, it sounds like. And he quit his job to become a volunteer firefighter and start a YouTube channel. So if you're going to do that, it seems to me you better have something really, really, really special to do on YouTube. You got to have a plan. What does he do? What's he doing? He starts talking about gold and silver. Gold and silver, but basically he just wants to get in on the YouTube bullshit. Doesn't know what he's doing. Doesn't have any type of social media presence, so he can't really get any exposure. To sound like to me he's going to quit a career, a stable career, to go on YouTube. Why would he do that? Something doesn't make sense. I would say there's something else going on there, but whatever. It's not really, I'm not going to concern myself with that.
I've been working on, I really got into this after August 23rd when videos that I've done recently.
Now, I haven't seen this video, and I'm not going to go, it's an hour long, but basically, apparently, he talks about, yeah, gave him a little comment here. I'm assuming this is NVIDIA. I don't know for sure, but he's basically trashing these stocks. He doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. And let's take a look at his channel here. Once again, you can see just complete horse shit. Doesn't know what let's go to the latest videos. What the fuck happened there? So it's just basically, it looks like clickbait. Whatever he can get, whatever the story he can get, because if you're talking about, if you're making claims that NVIDIA's a scam company and all this shit and their revenues are fake, that's a big story, and then you have to know a lot about that. You got a lot of detail. That's like enough to become a whole channel. Like all your videos practically are going to be on that, right? You're going to be sticking with that. You're going to be digging up more stuff. You're going to be talking about it over and over and over, right? It's a big deal. It's a huge deal, right? But guess what? Do you see that here? No. Basically, whatever can stick. He's throwing everything to the wall to see what can stick. You see that? We're going to take a look at his little NVIDIA videos here, but I noticed here, he's got this scam artist here, this lady. She's a scammer. Complete horse shit. This gold company, I forgot her name. Okay. But let's take a look at these videos. I want to see what he's talking about here. I'm not going to really, maybe at some point I'll look into it, but I don't really, it's just complete nonsense. Yeah. So you see, so he's talking about here, okay, why did a farm animal charity buy $500 million of NVIDIA chips? Okay, I don't know. I don't trust you. I don't care what you say, whatever. Okay, look at this. So anyway, this guy. The point I'm trying to make is that this guy is trying to basically get attention. He's trying to build a channel, right? In other words, think about it for a second. This guy decided to quit his career and go on YouTube, and now he's desperate. He's basically creating nonsense, doing whatever he can to build his channel. Why? Because he needs money. Why does he need money? Because obviously he didn't quit his career. Obviously he was fucking canned. Okay? Obviously there's a lot more that's going on. And he's desperate to make money grifting off YouTube, selling ads for scammers, and creating bullshit scam videos, baseless videos. So what's he do? He aligns himself with the gold pumping crowd, right? He's in that whole network, obviously. Apparently that's what he's doing. So I just wanted to show everybody that, right? Folks, anybody with the whole narrative, the whole gold pumping horse shit, I'm telling you right now, you got the minions out there, the followers, anybody you come across that buys into that shit, just fucking get them out of your life. They're mentally fucking disturbed, okay? And you're going to hear the same stupid horseshit from them, repetitive nonsense. It's going to get you nowhere in your life. Just to stay away from those people. They have mental disease. And in terms of the kingpins that are pulling this shit, that are swindling everybody, that are leading the charge of the gold pumping, mythological, fictional horse shit, the lies and the fraud, call these motherfuckers out. And there are tens of thousands of them. Okay? They're all scammers. And if I were in charge, I'd put them all in fucking jail with all these fucking fake investment gurus on YouTube. I'd shut down. If I was in charge, I'd shut down all social media. I'd shut down fucking ScamTube. Okay? I'd make the media regulated. I'd make all media run by the fucking state to avoid all the fucking scams. All right? I'd bust all these mega fucking corporations down because they're monopolies. I'd bust Google. I'd shut down complete. Meta's gone completely. Google would be chopped down so fucking much. And I'd probably put a lot of these people in jail for all the criminal activity they'd done at Google. Microsoft, I'd chop it the hell off down. I mean, I'd do a lot of things, folks. We're living in a criminal fucking world, a criminal capitalist world, right? Where capitalism means scamming people. It's okay to scam. Fake it till you make it is now a fucking business plan. It's acceptable to be a fake it till you make it scammer. That's a problem. Dave, feel free to chime in, Dave. If I said something that's factually inaccurate, Dave, feel free to leave a comment. I'd like to see what you have to say, Dave. And Dave, if you do want live expert tutoring from me, all you got to do, we can arrange a live neutral platform, and I'll teach you about investing. I'll teach you some basics about investing, Dave. We can talk about gold. I'll go through all the mythology. Just let me know, Dave.